Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will start the lecture. We will start the lecture of yesterday a little bit. We missed it somewhere. Like connection was there was no connection in the end last 10 minutes. So what I'll do is that I'll revise that whole lecture, just revision, and then we'll move to the next lecture, which was the original lecture. So let's see that what are the things that were actually studied, and 2 or 3 points we actually missed it there. So we are going to see those points also. So this was the vector table. So I said that why the vector table is used in order to determine the starting address of the exception handler. A vector table mechanism is used. So exception handle का starting address देने के लिए vector table mechanism use होता है. That is the most important. What is a vector table? Actually, it is an array of word data inside the system memory, each representing a starting address of one exceptional type. The vector table is relocatable, and relocation of the controlled by relocation register is in NVIC. After the reset, the relocation register is again reset to 0. Therefore, vector table is relocated to the address 0 after the reset. So this is the vector table. You just remember one line is that it is the it is used to determine the starting address of the exception handler. A vector table mechanism is used. Then this is the exception number, and that is having an exception vector. So 0 is for starting value of MSP, 1 is for reset, 2 is for NMI, third is for hard fault. NMI means non-maskable interrupt. Then fourth is a memory managed fault, fifth is the bus fault, sixth is the usage fault, 7 to 10 is reserved, 11 is SVC, which is also called as a supervisor call. Then 12th is the debug monitor, 13 is for reserved, 14 is pend SV, then 15 is the SysTick, which is also called as a system tick timer. Then 16 interrupt request 0, 17 interrupt request 1, and from 18 to 255 we are having the interrupt request from 2 to 239. So this is all about the exception number and the exception vector. Now let us see an example how this could be easily explained. Suppose reset is the exception type 1. So we'll go to the type 1. You can see that there is a type 1 as a reset. Sorry. So you can see that there is an reset exception number for the reset is 1. So if you look at this, reset is the exception type 1. The address of the reset vector is 1 times 4. So जो भी वहां पर होगा टाइप 1 है उसको 4 टाइम्स मल्टीप्लाई करने का 4 से. So वो क्या हो जाएगा? It will be each word will be of 4 bytes and that will be equal to 0 into 00004. Now NMI vector is of type 2. So you can see that type 2 is what? It's an non-maskable interrupt. So when NMI 2 vector type 2 is located, उसके आगे और 4 एड्रेस हो जाएगा. मतलब जहां एक है वो 4 एड्रेस से आगे जाएगा, यानी कि each word will be of 4 bytes. When it will be exception number 2, it will be again, it will go 4 more ahead. So it will be 0 into 0x00008. The address 0x00 is used to restore the starting value of MSP. MSP means main stack pointer. Now, in order to understand the chip peripherals, and working of it, we have to understand that there are two languages which are studied in order to write down the embedded programs, and they are C and assembly. Now, if you review the C and assembly language, you'll come to know that both of them are having some advantages and some disadvantages. So let us see. C is having the advantage as easy to learn, it is portable, easy handling of complex data structures, whereas disadvantage is that limited or no direct access to core register and stack, no direct control over instruction sequence generation. Whereas assembly is concerned, Then the allow direct control to each instruction step and all memory, allows direct access to instruction that cannot be generated by C. Whereas disadvantage is that it takes longer time to learn, difficult to manage the data structures and less portable. So इन दोनों में कोई अगर कॉमन चीज होगी तो वो एक ऐसा बोल सकते हैं कि सी लैंग्वेज एक पोर्टेबल है, असेंबली इतना पोर्टेबल नहीं है. सी लैंग्वेज थोड़ा आसानी से समझी जा सकती है मगर असेंबली लैंग्वेज थोड़ी सी डिफिकल्ट है, आपको समझने के लिए देर लगेगी. और तीसरा सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट बात यह है कि असेंबली difficult to manage the data structures, whereas C can easily handle the complex data structure. So that is what the comparison is about C and assembly. Now we'll also see in further things that the Cortex-M processor can be programmed using both C as well as assembly language or a mixture of both. It could be used. Then a system on chip programmer typically actually needs the mixing of both the languages. ARM-C compilers provided an embedded assembler so that assembly function can be included in C program code easily. C के अंदर assembly को बुलाया जा सकता है, assembly के अंदर C को बुलाया जा सकता है. यही इसका सबसे बड़ा प्लस पॉइंट है कि आप जब प्रोग्रामिंग करते हैं तो दोनों एक दूसरे में आप बुला सकते हैं. और नॉर्मली प्रोग्रामर मिक्सिंग ऑफ बोथ असेंबली एज वेल सी लैंग्वेज प्रोग्रामिंग का इस्तेमाल करते हैं. Now we can see a typical program generation flow. There is a C code, so compiler is there, which is converted into assembly code. Then assembly code with the help of assembler is converted into the machine code. Then machine code is converted into the program image, which is downloaded in the program memory, which is then fetched through the processor, decoded and then executed, and then we'll be having the processing where the data in and data out will go. Now typical generation flow को अगर explain किया जाए तो generation of program flow follows typical development flow. सीधी सी बात है, compiling होती है, assembling होती है, linking होती है और downloading होती है. So compiler, उसके बाद assembler, उसके बाद linker and then you download the program into the program memory. Now इसमें program image वाला जो part है, program image, वो program image is called as the executable file which we generate. It is stored into the program memory. The executable file is stored in the program memory, normally on the chip flash memory, and that is fetched by the processor. We are now going to see how the program in a high level language such as C are generated and then downloaded into the hardware in the next slide. So एक simple से example के through हम ये देखेंगे कि how this high level language is converted, how this program in a high level language such as C is generated and then downloaded into the hardware part. So this is that part which is important as far as the understanding is concerned. This is the program generation flow with the help of ARM tool. So you can see that there is a C source code. Through compiler it is converted into ARM CC and then it is converted into the object files. If instead of C we are using assembly source code, then through assembler it is converted into the ASM files which are then converted into the object files. So दोनों तरीके से object files आएगा. सिर्फ assembly code में आपको libraries भी include करनी पड़ती है. So object file plus libraries as far as assembly is concerned goes to the ARM link, where it is the executable program is generated in the program image and then it is downloaded into the program memory, which is converted into the binary form. This is how, so that is in the binary form. So this is how the program generation flow takes place as far as the ARM tools are concerned. In the first stage, compilation happens where the program is translated from high level language to assembly language. So सबसे पहले high language to assembly language होगा with the help of compiler. Then the assembly language uses the mnemonic code, which is referred to be as an instruction in order that cannot be understood by the processor. So it is converted into the assembly program into the numeric values, and this is called as the machine code. This can be done by actually assembler. Now in the third stage, the object file code is generated by the assembler, which is linked together with the object code files from the library function used to produce an executable file. Finally, generally executable files are stored in the program memory, that is normally on the chip memory, flash memory, to be fetched to the processor. Then the ARM tool actually, however, supports both assembly as well as C language source file. The ARM CC tool converts the C into the object file, whereas the ARM ASM converts the source file into the assembly language, which is then converted into the object code. So in this way, the linking stage of the ARM link tool can be used. Now what is there in the program image? Now actually program image में क्या है, तो आपका executable file है. वो एग्जीक्यूटेबल फाइल इस प्रोग्राम इमेज में कहां पर होता है और कैसे होता है, ये हमको एक बार देखना है. सो इस प्रोग्राम इमेज को आप देखेंगे तो इट इज डिवाइडेड इनटू राउंड अबाउट 5 ब्लॉक्स. फर्स्ट इज द वेक्टर टेबल. ये वेक्टर टेबल किस लिए है? वेक्टर टेबल इज द मैकेनिज्म टू गिव द स्टार्टिंग एड्रेस, right? The vector table is used to give the starting address. Then we have C library code, then we have program code, then startup routine और उसके बाद code region. So vector table के सामने देख रहे हैं आपकी initial address जो लगता है exception address, exception handler address, वो वहाँ पर है. और ऊपर वाला जो हिस्सा है वो एक्चुअली प्रोग्राम इमेज का है. तो वेक्टर टेबल प्लस प्रोग्राम इमेज एंड कोड रीजन, ऐसा 3 हिस्सों में वो बटा हुआ है, अलग अलग सेक्शंस में. Now let us see that how this program image actually is used in order to execute these files. We have to understand the compilation stages of program from high level language to binary. So high level language से जो आपको end में binary file मिलती है वहां तक समझना बहुत जरूरी है. We are going to examine the contents of the program image of the Cortex. ठीक है. A program image which is also an executable file refers to piece of fully integrated code that is ready to execute. So .exe आप तो अच्छी तरह से जानते हैं कि कोई भी .exe फाइल वो एग्जीक्यूटेबल फाइल होती है. आप कोई भी सॉफ्टवेयर जैसे डाउनलोड करते हो तो उसकी .exe फाइल आप डाउनलोड करते हो, वो .exe फाइल ही आपको रन करने के लिए काम में आती है, वही एग्जीक्यूट होती है. वो कहाँ पर स्टोर होती है? एक्चुअली वो प्रोग्राम इमेज में स्टोर होती है. In Cortex M3, program image is stored. Now, program image is stored in the code region of the memory map. So, the program image actually कहाँ पर store होती है? Code region में. So, where is the code region? The topmost code region. The program image includes number of regions, namely as vector table, C startup routine, program code, and C library code. So, ये सारा जो है उसमें include होता है. The vector table contains the starting address of the exception, जैसे मैंने बताया. It also contains the initial value of the main stack pointer. This is stored in the first word of vector table and it can be programmed in C or assembly. अभी रहा सवाल linker का. The linker in some cases may add C library to the program image. The program code includes a sequence of instruction which corresponds to the program being executed. In addition to this, part of the program image includes other type of information such as initial value of the variable, constant value, peripheral address, character strings, lookup table, and graphic image data. Startup routine की बात की जाए तो it is a part of a program image. 0 is used to initialize data memory variables that initiated at load time. It also sets up the data memory such as global data variable, and the startup routine is automatically added to the program image by the compiler or linker. It is labeled as main by the ARM compiler but may have different label if using other compilers. Now this was the 3.7. Now we'll move to the actual 3.8 what we will be starting. Now we have seen this program image. This program image के अंदर देखा हमने कि स्टार्ट में कोड रीजन है और बॉटम से वेक्टर टेबल है और बीच में के सारे काम जो होता है एक्चुअली प्रोग्राम इमेज का वो होता है जनरेट डॉट एग्जीक्यूटेबल फाइल, दैट इज .exe फाइल्स. Now we have to use this program image in global memory. When it terms in global memory, global means what? There is difference between local variable and global variable. लोकल वेरिएबल मतलब उसी लूप में, अगर एक लूप में आप कोई वेरिएबल असाइन कर रहे हो तो वो लोकल वेरिएबल उसी लूप में यूज हो सकता है. इट कैन नॉट बी यूज्ड इन एवरीवेयर, बट एज फार एज द ग्लोबल वेरिएबल इज कंसर्न्ड इट कैन बी यूज्ड थ्रू आउट द प्रोग्राम. So similarly, global memory program image in global memory means the program image which will be stored into the memory that can be used globally. So it does have 6 to 7 parts. First is the code part that is mainly used for program image, जहाँ पर स्टोर होता है. Example on chip flash. Then we have SRAM, that is static RAM. So mainly used for data memory. Examples chip, static RAM or SDRAM. then peripherals, then we have external RAM, external devices, peripheral bus, and then there is one part called as reserved. Now, program image in global memory means what? In Cortex M3, the program image is stored in the code region. So obviously, code region में वो store होता है और global memory is up to 512 MB. तो मैंने जैसे बताया कि globally means it will be used throughout, and the memory space will be ranging from 0 to FFF. It is usually implemented on non-volatile memory such as on-chip flash memory. सो नॉन वोलेटाइल मेमोरी एक्चुअली कौन सी मेमोरी होती है, जैसे ही आप पावर ऑन कर देते हो वो इरेज हो जाती है, ऐसे वाले मेमोरी में. इट इज नॉर्मली सेपरेटेड फ्रॉम प्रोग्राम डेटा विच इज अलोकेटेड टू द SRAM और डेटा रीजन. This type of program data which can be supported depends on the processor architecture and compiler. So जो टाइप है प्रोग्राम डेटा का वो उसी के हिसाब से जिस हिसाब से उसका आर्किटेक्चर और कंपाइलर है. Then 4 data sizes are supported in ARM programming. One is your byte, that is 8-bit, half word, that is 16-bit, and double word, that is 64-bit. Now this is the data type. You know that data type is what, like an signed, unsigned. उसके बाद MATLAB में हम बहुत सारे data types देखते हैं. Floating है, float data type एक है, signed है, unsigned है, float है, and there are different data types that are supported by the particular software or particular processor. So similarly, there are some data types which the Cortex M3 supports. So what are the different data types that are supported by the Cortex? That is, first is character. It is in bits, byte size, short, half word, then long, word, long, double word, float, again word, double, long, double word, pointer, that is word, and enumerator, that is enumerator, byte, half word, or word. Then data qualifiers in C language are of two types. One is constant and the second one is volatile. So written by program can be put into ROM to save RAM. So ROM में इस constant को डाला जा सकता है, यानी जब जब आप constant assign करेंगे, it will go to the ROM memory in order to save RAM, because we don't want to fill the RAM by writing all these variables also, because that is required for the program. Then it helps the compiler to check your intended code structure. Then second type is the volatile. It can be changed outside of normal program flow ISR, hardware register. Compiler must not optimize the access to volatile variables. This is important line. Compilers must not optimize the access to volatile variables. Flags set by the interrupt routine should be marked as volatile. Memory mapped peripheral registers should be marked as volatile. So these are the things that are included while choosing the types of data classifiers in C language. When you're using constant, then what are the rules? And when you're using volatile, then what are the rules that could be set up? C language also has type qualifiers. The type qualifier is a keyboard that is applied to a type resulting in qualified type. In the other word, type qualifiers are used to give additional information about value, which ensures its correct use. Two types of qualifiers we have seen, that is constant and volatile. Constant means something that is not modifiable. Therefore, when data object is declared as constant, this means that it must not be altered in execution of the program. एक बार आपने constant तय कर लिया तो वो altered नहीं कर सकते, उसको modify भी नहीं कर सकते. That have to be used as it is. This is constant. And second one is your volatile. So volatile, what it says, it can be changed outside of the normal program flow, hardware, ISR, hardware, and register. So it can be changed outside. Then data qualifiers in C language. A volatile qualifier is used to specify the data type of an object, and it indicates that an object is open to change at any time. So obviously मैंने बताया कि constant है, volatile है, volatile यानी कि आप उसको change कर सकते हैं किसी भी वक्त पे, और दूसरा है आपका constant जिसको हम change नहीं कर सकते. Therefore it must be read from memory each time it is accessed. So volatile qualifier को should be read from memory each time it is accessed, because it is changing. You can change it anytime. So every time you know that it has to be accessed or it has to be read from the memory. जब जब उसको बुलाएंगे, क्योंकि कैसा होता है कि अगर आपने volatile qualifier का वैल्यू बदल दिया तो अगली बार उसका उसको कौन सा वैल्यू होगा ये पता नहीं होता है, वो कौन सा वेरिएबल आपने रखा है उसको, वोल्टेज क्वालिफायर को, वोलेटाइल क्वालिफायर को, तो वो जानने के लिए आपको फिर एक बार उसको रीड करना पड़ेगा. बट इन केस ऑफ कांस्टेंट यू डोंट हैव टू रीड दैट, बिकॉज इन कांस्टेंट यू नो दैट देयर इज अ फिक्स्ड वैल्यू which cannot be modified. But in this case it is modifiable, hence it has to be read from the memory each time when it is accessed. The qualifier is the most often found in the code that control hardware directly, such as in embedded system and device drivers. Now next part is how data is stored in RAM. So how that data is stored in RAM. Typically data can be stored in three regions. One is a static data, second is stack, and third one is a heap. Now what does three means? Typically data is stored in three regions, that is static data, stack, and heap. Now what is static data? It contains global variables and static variables. This is very important line. Static data contains global variables and static variables. Second, static contains temporary data from local variables, parameters passing in the function calls, and registers saving during exceptions, etc. This is for stack. And third is heap. Heap contains piece of memory spaces that are dynamically reserved by the function calls such as alloc and malloc. So that is allocation and memory allocation. The RAM in microcontroller is used in different way. So दोनों का तरीका अलग अलग है, इसमें अलग तरीके से करते हैं, रैम माइक्रो कंट्रोलर में अलग तरीके से काम करते हैं. इसमें वो स्टैटिक डेटा स्टैक और हीप के फॉर्म में. Static data contains global variables and static variables. Static contains temporary data from local variables. So static data में global variable है, stack में local variables, और heap में memory spaces है. That means the allocation and memory allocation. These are the three things that is being used to, which will be helpful to store the data in RAM. Now, so there are two ways in which the data is stored. One will be the for the volatile memory, and the next one will be non-volatile memory. So you can see the example how it is been stored. So as far as the volatile memory is concerned, example static RAM, और यहाँ पर example flash. So non-volatile मतलब it gets erased as soon as the power is on. Volatile means it does not get erased. That is the thing. That is the simple difference. So as far as the volatile memory is concerned, which is an static RAM, so उसमें पहले होता है zero initialize the static data, then initialize the static data, then stack data, and heap data. These are the four things that is been done while you usually store in volatile memory. But in case of non-volatile memory, it will be constant data, then initializing the data, startup code, program code, and then runtime library code. So this is where the volatile memory and non-volatile memory is usually stored. That is a data storage example. So far we have learned that the Cortex M3, the program image is stored in the code region in global memory. So ये तो हमने अच्छी तरह से देख लिया है कि प्रोग्राम इमेज जो है वो एग्जीक्यूटेबल फाइल है, और प्रोग्राम इमेज कहाँ स्टोर होती है, कोड रीजन में, और वो कोड रीजन कहाँ पर है, तो ग्लोबल मेमोरी में. ये भी हमने देखा. सेकंड, ग्लोबल मेमोरी कितनी है, इट कुड बी अप टू 512 MB एंड यूजुअली इंप्लीमेंटेड ऑन नॉन वोलेटाइल मेमोरी, दैट इज फ्लैश मेमोरी और ऑन चिप. ठीक है. Third, we have also learned that the program data is normally separated from program image and usually allocated in static RAM or data region. So जो program data है वो program image से separated है और वो locate होता है, allocate होता है static RAM में. Now we'll take example like there is a global variable called d equal to 31. So global variable है तो वो कहाँ store होगा, obviously static data region में store होगा in RAM. Second, constant है c इक्वल टू 123. तो कांस्टेंट है, ऊपर वेरिएबल है, तो ये कांस्टेंट यानी कि क्या हो गया, इट इज अ स्टोर्ड इन द स्टार्टअप रूटीन सेक्शन ऑफ द प्रोग्राम इन ऑर्डर टू सेव द स्पेस ऑन SRAM. और तीसरा पार्ट है कि अगर हमने कोई परफॉर्मेंस किया है एडिशन का, एग्जांपल लाइक a इक्वल टू d+7, दैट विल बी स्टोर्ड इन द प्रोग्राम कोड रीजन इन द फ्लैश मेमोरी. सो दिस इज हाउ द डिफरेंट मेमोरी यूटिलाइजेशन of the variables constants take place and stored into the RAM. Next part will be serial communication. Now in between we have been seeing, because the point is given in the syllabus, this is actually not related with the concept what we have seen up till now, but that's the point is given, so we have to see the serial communication as that is mentioned in the syllabus. दो टाइप्स के कम्युनिकेशंस होते हैं, एक होता है सीरियल और दूसरा होता है पैरेलल. In case of serial communication, the data actually one bit by bit जाता है sequential fashion में, commonly used for long haul communications, modem and non-network communications. Example of serial communication is UART, SPI, that is serial peripheral interface, then I2C, USB, Ethernet, PCI Express. Digital communication occurs in two basic modes, which I said serial and parallel. And this type of transmission mode can be used depending on wire length required and communication bandwidth. In serial communication, as the bits are sent sequentially on the same line, it reduces the wiring cost, but also limits the communication speed, affording the line speed. So, एक के पीछे एक bit जाते हैं serially, so wire costing कम हो जाती है, जो कि पैरेलल में देखा जाए तो पैरेलली सब पैरेलल वायर्स में जाते हैं, तो वहां पर आपको वायरिंग कॉस्ट ज्यादा लगती है. बट एज फार एज सीरियल इज कंसर्न, इट गोज बिट बाय बिट इन अ सीक्वेंस, हेंस वायरिंग कॉस्ट रिड्यूस होती है. बट इट विल ऑल्सो लिमिटेशंस आती है स्पीड की. सीरियल कम्युनिकेशन में स्पीड कम हो जाता है क्योंकि बिट बाय बिट सीक्वेंस में जाता है, तो उसका लिमिटेशंस आ जाती है. मगर पैरेलल में बिट बाय बिट न जाते, वो पैरेलली डेटा जाता है, तो इस वजह से उसकी स्पीड ज्यादा होती है एज कंपेयर टू सीरियल. फॉर लॉन्गर कम्युनिकेशन, द सीरियल कम्युनिकेशंस कैन बी used. Examples of serial mode transmission includes the connection between computer and modem using RS-232 protocol. So modem और computer के बीच में जो communication होता है वो serial communication है. So this is about the serial communication. Now we come to the main part, what we were seeing. So अब तक हमने program image के बारे में देखा, program image in global memory देखा, फिर हमने ये देखा कि how the data is stored in RAM. We have also seen how the data, how the storage is, how there is a storage as far as the non-volatile memory is concerned, and how the data is stored as far as volatile memory is concerned. So we have seen all those parts. Now there is another section called as analog interfacing and data acquisition. Now इसमें एनालॉग इंटरफेसिंग जैसी आएगा, डेटा एक्विजिशन जैसी आएगा, इसका मतलब हम एनालॉग सिग्नल्स में आ गए हैं, राइट? सो वी हैव टू कन्वर्ट दीज एनालॉग फॉर्म्स इनटू द डिजिटल फॉर कंप्यूटर्स टू प्रोसेस, बिकॉज जो भी सेंस किया, डेटा एक्विजिशन इज एक्चुअली व्हाट इट मीन्स इज दैट इट इज सेंसिंग द डेटा फ्रॉम ऑल द सेंसेस. इट इज this data is in the analog form, it is converted into the discrete or digital form, and then it is processed, and the decision is taken accordingly what should be done with the particular sensor and what is the aim of your system. Accordingly the output is produced. That is called as the data acquisition system. Now so for that thing, the most important as far as data acquisition system is concerned is the analog interfacing, बिकॉज ये सारा जो डेटा आता है वो एनालॉग फॉर्म में आता है, और जब वो एनालॉग फॉर्म में आता है तो हमको उसे प्रोसेस करना जरूरी है. सो एम्बेडेड सिस्टम ऑफन नीड्स टू मेजर द वैल्यूज ऑफ फिजिकल पैरामीटर्स. सो मैंने जैसे बताया सेंस करता है अलग अलग पैरामीटर्स. दीज पैरामीटर्स आर यूजुअली एनालॉग एंड नॉट इन डिजिटल फॉर्म विच कंप्यूटर्स कैन प्रोसेस. सो एग्जाम्पल इज टेम्परेचर थर्मोस्टैट, थर्मोमीटर, कार इंजन. For light, digital camera, IR remote control receiver, pressure, blood pressure monitor, acceleration, airbag controllers, video game remote, mechanical strain. Others like touch screen controllers, EEG, brake analyzer. All these are examples of the sensors which they sense in different ways. So these are the different parameters like temperature, light, pressure, acceleration, etc. These are all physical parameters whose output are in the form of analog and which cannot be understood by the computer. So it needs digital. So henceforth we have to convert these analog into the digital form. Now how it could be done is in a different way. So we'll take an example like a comparator have two inputs. One is the input voltage and the another one is a reference voltage, and determines which is the larger returning one bit number. So जैसे ही वी इनपुट दिया जाता है, वी रेफरेंस के साथ वो कंपेयर किया जाता है और अकॉर्डिंगली आउटपुट नंबर बिट नंबर बनता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ द बिट इज ग्रेटर देन 100 फीट, that means V input is greater than V reference. So setting the V reference to voltage pressure sensor returns with 100 depth, right? So that is what the depth value is. An analog to digital converter tells how large V input is the fraction of V reference. Reads an analog input usually as a voltage and produces the corresponding multi-bit number of output. Example, calculating the depth. Hello, are you understanding it? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Then comes the analog and digital value. So I said that when you gather the information from the analog source, then is the most important thing is to convert it into the digital form. So अब तक हमने जो देखा वो एनालॉग था और उसकी इंटरफेसिंग देखी, और वो कहाँ पर थी? डेटा एक्विजिशन के अंदर. नाउ वो वाला जो पार्ट है वो कंप्लीटली जो डेटा कलेक्ट करता है और डेटा बाद में कन्वर्ट करता है डिजिटल प्रोसेस में, उसके बारे में हम एग्जाम्पल एक कंसिडर करेंगे, एनालॉग एंड डिजिटल वैल्यूज. सो लेट अस कंसिडर कि एक बड़ी सी पानी की टंकी है और उसमें पानी गिर रहा है, तो वाटर प्रेशर है उसके ऊपर, पानी का प्रेशर गिर रहा है, तो वो प्रेशर सेंस करेगा, प्रेशर सेंसर, और जो आउटपुट देगा वो ऑब्वियसली एक वोल्टेज वैल्यू होगी विच इज एन एनालॉग फॉर्म. तो वो वोल्टेज सेंसर, वी सेंसर हम बोलेंगे. और जो एनालॉग और डिजिटल कन्वर्टर को हम वो देंगे, उसके पास एक्चुअली एक वी रेफरेंस वैल्यू है कि भाई इतने प्रेशर से पानी गिरना चाहिए, उसका एक रेफरेंस वैल्यू है. और जैसे ये प्रेशर सेंसर का वोल्टेज आता है, वो दोनों के बीच में कंपैरिजन होगा. अब कंपैरिजन होगा और बाद में जो कंपैरिजन हम देंगे वो उस वो जाएगा एडीसी कोड को, जहां पर कोड जनरेट होगा. दिस इज व्हाट द सिंपल वैल्यू इज. So two values I am getting here. One is the pressure sensor, that is called as the analog output voltage, and second thing is that when I'm getting the analog to digital converter, I am getting a digital code. So two values is that it's a V sensor and second your digital code. So sensor detects the pressure and generates a proportional voltage called as V sensor. ADC generates a proportional digital integer code based on V sensor and V reference, and code can convert that integer into something more useful information. Obviously वो ADC कोड को जाएगा दोनों के बीच में, तो वो उसको किसी यूजफुल इंफॉर्मेशन में ही कन्वर्ट करेगा. तो आप कोड ऐसा लिखोगे कि मोस्टली आपको उसका इंफॉर्मेशन अच्छी तरह से मिलेगा कि भाई वाटर प्रेशर कैसा है, वो कितना होना चाहिए, वो कितना आ रहा है, कितना फ्लक्चुएटिंग है, कैसे, depending upon you can get the information through the ADC code. So when the float representing voltage, pressure and depth, so ये तीन चीजें आप उसमें निकाल सकते हैं, वोल्टेज, प्रेशर और डेप्थ. देन रिवर्स वे से भी जा सकते हैं, डिजिटल टू एनालॉग कन्वर्जन. सो वी कैन टेक एन एग्जांपल लाइक मे नीड टू जनरेट एनालॉग वोल्टेज और एनालॉग करंट एज द आउटपुट वोल्टेज. किसी किसी एप्लीकेशन में आपको एनालॉग की जरूरत पड़ती है, वोल्टेज या एनालॉग करंट की जरूरत पड़ती है, तो उस वक्त आप डीएसी का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज इट जनरेट्स एनालॉग वोल्टेज विच इज द फ्रैक्शन ऑफ वी रेफरेंस. So DSA equation can be given as small n is input code, जो कोड आ रहा है वो, n is equal to number of bits of resolution of the converter. So DAC का resolution bit 8 बिट है, 16 बिट है, कितना बिट का resolution है, और बाद में V आउटपुट जो आपका आउटपुट वोल्टेज है. सो आपको जो वैल्यू मिलेगा वो दो किस्म से वैल्यू मिल सकते हैं, either V out is equal to V reference into n by 2n, और V out is equal to V reference into n plus 1 by 2n. So n की जो वैल्यू है वो करंट स्टेज वाली है, और n plus 1 यानी कि नेक्स्ट स्टेप वाला, नेक्स्ट यानी कि उसके आगे क्या वैल्यू हो सकती है वो भी आप निकाल सकते हैं. So the offset plus 1 term depends on internal configuration of DAC. You can check the data sheet for the same. So in this way you can convert analog to digital and study it, and the same way you can study digital to analog conversion, how the things takes place. So I do feel so we should revise this thing. So this is the program image in the global memory. Code, static RAM, peripherals, external RAM, external device, peripheral bus reserved. Code is been reserved for the program image, example on chip flash memory, and static RAM is the data memory of chip. static RAM, SD RAM, etc. So this is how the program image in the global memory is stored. So your program image is stored in the code region, and this code region is stored into the global memory, and mostly the global memory is up to 512 MB, and the space memory space ranging from 000 to FFF. So it is normally usually implemented on non-volatile memory such as chip flash memory, whereas the program data is stored into the SRAM, and the type of program data which supports depends on the processor, architecture, and compiler. So this is the data type that is supported by Cortex M3. These are the two data qualifiers. One is constant, the second one is volatile. So constant means that you cannot change it. It is not a modifiable. You cannot modify it. But volatile, you can change it. That is what the difference is. And these types of qualifiers, like in the other word, we could say that qualifiers are used to give additional information about the value, which ensures it correct way. So constant means something which is not modifiable. Therefore, the data object is declared as constant. That means you cannot alter the value. But in case of volatile, you can change it at any time, and therefore it must be read from memory each time it is accessed. Now, the data is stored in RAM in three ways. One is a static data, stack, and heap. So static data contains the global variable as well as static variables. Stack contains the temporary data from local variables, and heap contains memory spaces that are dynamically reserved by the functions such as alloc and malloc. And as far as RAM in microcontroller is concerned, it is used in a different way. Then this is the example of data storage. So two examples you can see is the data storage in volatile memory, and the second is data storage in non-volatile memory. Then we'll go further. So we say that program image is stored in the code region in the memory. It is 512 MB, whereas the program data is stored in the static RAM. And if you take an example, global variable d equal to 31, which will be stored in the static data region, c equal to constant 123, which will be stored into the startup routine section, and the third part, the addition a equal to d plus 7, will be stored in the program code in the flash memory. This is the serial communication. Example of serial communication is UART, SPI, I2C, USB, Ethernet, PCI Express. And this is the analog to digital conversion. So the physical parameters that you gather from different sensors are all analog, and they are the part of a data acquisition system. So if we take an example, we can understand through this how to calculate the depth by comparing, by using a comparator for comparing two values of V input and V reference. So V reference is the standard value, whereas V input is the input value, which is compared, and accordingly the depth is calculated. This is the analog and digital values, how you can get analog and digital values. So like pressure, water pressure is converted into the pressure sensor, and then we get an analog signal that is in form of V sensor, and then it is compared with the V reference for analog to digital conversion, which is generated as an ADC code. This is digital to analog conversion. Likewise, when we convert analog to digital data, digital to analog data can be also converted. So I do feel so this part is finished here. Yes, have you got it, students? हाँ, मुझे थोड़ा फीडबैक दो ना, कैसे कैसे पढ़ा रहा हूँ मैं, क्या पढ़ा रहा हूँ, एक बार बोलिए ना, कोई भी बोलिए, ठीक पढ़ा रहा हूँ, कैसे है, क्या है, आप बताइए ना. हेलो, be frank, you tell me whether I am teaching not so good, okay sir, या थोड़ा सा इम्प्रूवमेंट चाहिए, या कुछ और थोड़ा स्टाइल से, अलग स्टाइल से पढ़ाओ सर, समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, ऐसा कुछ भी होगा तो आप मुझे बताइए. Are you understanding it clearly, whatever I am teaching?
Yes, sir.
पक्का ना? पक्का, क्योंकि देखो मैं आई एम न्यू टू यू ऑल, मतलब मैं आपके लिए नया हूँ, तो मुझे थोड़ा सा आप बताते चलिए, क्योंकि मुझे समझ में नहीं आता ना कि हाउ मच, व्हाट इज द डेप्थ आई शुड टीच, और इज माय स्पीड ओके, इज एवरीथिंग गोइंग इन अ प्रॉपर वे. नहीं तो क्या हो जाता है, फिर मैं भी उतना एनर्जी से आपको पढ़ाता हूँ, आपको भी समझ में नहीं आता है, तो उसमें कुछ ये नहीं होगा. सो आर यू सेटिस्फाइड विथ वॉट एवर आई एम टीचिंग?
Yes, sir.
ओके। और मैंने इस पे आपको लिंक डाला है, आप नोट्स भी देख रहे हैं क्या? यूट्यूब की लिंक भी देखो, आपको जैसे जैसे टाइम मिलता है। ठीक है। ओके, शुड वी टेक अटेंडेंस?